Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Shut Door, or Door Shutter, coming back to you with episode 57 of Direwolf20's 1.18 Modpack. And today, we're going to be looking at Mechanism's Fission Reactor once more. I know we're going to get into the turbine today for Extreme Reactors, or well, start to get towards that. But I wanted to talk about this. So somebody left an actually really good comment on the last video, episode 56. Basically saying, hey, the reason that this is not working is because you're doing it wrong. And a gist, right? So we don't need to constantly produce sodium. And this was an issue that I did not realize. I guess I was just kind of a little short-sighted and not really realizing the intent of the fission reactor. So I'm going to try to explain this comment to the best of my ability. So first things first, you want to be able to fill this coolant tank, okay? That's all you need to do. Get some sodium in here, fill it up, and you should be good, okay? You can see that this is constantly balancing out to about 19 million sodium, right? 19 million millibuckets of sodium, and constant fissile fuel. Fissile fuel is the only thing that you really need to worry about because it could, cause a problem if you don't have enough fissile fuel. So what this boiler is doing is actually needing a lot of water, okay? And the reason that is of course because you're doing 200,000 millibuckets per tick, and we only have 1 million in there, right? So you can see that we have 5 million superheated sodium. So we're not really producing enough output from the boiler to actually get all of this out of here and back into here. That is an issue, but that's fine. Right? But we are just constantly refeeding back the sodium that is cooled down from the boiler into here, okay? And I don't need a backlog. You legitimately need one pipe that is constantly always feeding sodium back in here. So it's basically a constant loop. Sodium comes out as superheated sodium. Sodium goes back in, superheated sodium, sodium, superheated sodium, sodium. And it's constant, right? And then the other thing is you also need to remember you need a lot of water. I think this is enough water for now, right? Like, this is a pretty decent amount. I wouldn't say it's the best amount, but it's decent, okay? We can expand this boiler, which I might do just because I am concerned about how much superheated, sodium we actually have in here. But over here, we are actually currently looking at this, okay? So we have 500,000 FE per tick, or RF per tick. That is currently, just pumping power, 500,000 power, right? So this is actually working. This is stable. I have slowly been increasing this. Currently, we're at 10 millibuckets per tick. So the problem will be, right, if we go up to, say, 15, let's see, because I haven't done this. So if we change this to 15, let's see what happens. Of course, temperature is going to spike. Okay, yeah. So you can see that just immediately said no. So let's turn this back to 10. Click OK. Activate. You can see we drop in sodium, but of course it stabilizes. So I'm not 100% sure why that immediately failed. Okay, you can see that we are needing to scram it. I would think that it's just not able to heat it up fast enough. So there's kind of our peak, right? So 10 millibuckets, right? Activate it. And we should be stable for a long time coming. Of course, the heat's pretty decent. It's still in the green. But yeah, that is the mechanism reactor. I believe I'm comfortable enough to leave this here. Okay, turn this on, keep this turned on, and we should be fine. I do want to actually quickly look at expanding this boiler. I'm not 100% sure the best method of expanding the boiler because I'm not a boiler expert on mechanism. So let's scram this. All right, so this should clear out. And what we'll do is we will grab the wrench. Let's clear this. Okay, because I think this is our point of failure, is this boiler, because it needs to be able to produce a lot of sodium from the superheated sodium. Okay, so let's do this. So let's knock out this wall, and we'll knock out this wall, expand it by 2. Maybe let's expand it by 3. I think that should work. We don't need to knock out that. Well, I guess we can. Just knock out this right here. Okay. And of course, we will expand the pressure dispersers and superheating elements. I'm not sure if you can actually stack these like to 2. Maybe we'll do that. Let's raise the height a little bit as well. We can actually, yeah, let's take out all this. Just keep the corners. I don't know why I destroyed. All right, well, actually, yeah, I destroyed the corner because we need to expand it that way and that way. Okay. All right, so let's grab the structural glass. I really have no idea. That's the biggest thing with this. So let's move these up. Right? So we'll go 1, 2, 3. We'll do 1, 2, 3. Kind of give it a decent amount of space in between. So 3 in between. Kind of like a decent ratio, I would think. All right. And then, of course, let's go 1, 2, 3. I don't know how tall these can be. This may be too tall. This may also be just overkill. Which, overkill is my middle name, right? So let's get this going. Let's actually grab some more structural glass. As well. Might as well, because I know I'm probably going to need it. Alright. And of course, this is an entity. Or a title entity, so I can't actually use the building gadget. Mechanism has like one of the weirder mods with multi-blocks because you can't do that, but Extreme Reactors you can. So it's just kind of interesting to see how many different methods of actually creating structures like this there are. And I totally just spaced. We did not actually expand it out this way. Be right back. Alrighty, so we have the massive boiler, or well, a little bit bigger. I've only expanded it 2 blocks because this is in the way, but what should happen now is we have 5 million water in here constantly. We have a lot of sinks, entangled blocks. This should hopefully work. We'll click activate. And what we should see happen is a lot more boiling. So I also wanted to look at something. So I saw a thing, this thing, from Mechanism. I read this on the wiki that we could actually use this to basically create heat. I don't know how this would work. Let's see. Boiler. I don't know 100%, but it would basically allow for more heat to be able to be pushed in here, which would cause more boiling, which would cause it to be quicker, I would assume. Not 100% sure, don't quote me on that one. But I want to look into that. So, what are we doing over here? How are we going? 500,000. And I don't believe that this actually is enough heat to get any better, right? So if we do 11, this should just start dipping. Yes, okay. So I want to look into that, but I'm going to do that real quick off camera. Get the actual machine. Fuel, wood. Okay, let's mark that. I'm going to get this. I'm going to actually look into it a little bit before I just, waste a few minutes here. So let me do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've actually switched over to using this heater, this electric heater basically, right? And what this actually will do is you can actually grab some thermodynamic conductors and pipe this directly into the boiler. You can see the boil rate is actually higher as of current, but you can also change this. So if I say 50,000, which this might be overkill, this will actually produce a lot of temperature. And basically that'll increase the boil rate. Not that much. Of course, we'd probably have to get quite insane with this to actually do a lot. Especially because just the magnitude of this boiler, right? Like, that's the biggest thing with this. It's going to take forever to do anything like that. But looking into this is just, another option. There's not really a lot to it. You can just click in here. You type in, you want 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 100,000, you know, it's gonna get that heat up there. And of course, over time, it'll transfer from this to into here. And yeah, that's kind of that. So if you wanted to set up like a farm of these, because yeah, this is 100,000 FE, like that's a lot. You know, it's an option. Because yeah, you can see we're not really increasing that much. But I also don't know how much heat these transfer. Heat capacity 1, insulation. And I don't think there's like an output or input or anything like that. So let's see. If we actually take this, because there's no information on really where you should put these things. Could I put this here? Grab this. And would that produce heat? So if I say, how much can I even do this? Like, that's a lot. But I doubt it's going to increase anything, right? Alright, so let's go. Let's move this down here, 1. Let's grab these things to make sure we're actually transferring heat. Right? And then, of course, we'll provide power. We're going to cut this down back to, let's just say 50,000. Would this even... I don't think this would be enough, but we did get over that 200,000 boil rate mark, which is decent, I think. So yeah, I think we're good. We're kind of constant on steam. We're still kind of on this. I really want this to be better boiling, but I'm not sure how to do that. So I'm going to actually get ready for the Extreme Reactors part. I'm going to keep this on. I think this is stable enough to call it good. We're not using too much power from this 50,000. That's not terrible. But yeah, so let's get into Extreme Reactors. Again, looking at a turbine, which should be pretty interesting. Also, I actually, before we forget here, let's actually hop, skip, and jump over to home. I really need to move this matter transporter because this house is kind of useless. I've been using this place basically as a base now, and that's fine, I guess, but you know, I hate traveling over here every time. Let's look at this. So we are inputting about 1 million, right? And this thing should be decent for a while. Yeah, we're almost we're under 1 million. And we're all outputting, I see 1 million every once in a while. So, I think that's a pretty stable situation, okay? So let's look at what we need for Extreme Reactors. I guess we don't really need to cut. Let's just keep going, okay? So let's clear out that stuff. Let's throw some of my stuff in my bag. Alrighty. So what is the turbine? Well, it's basically like what we just did with Mechanism, but there's a little bit more to it, especially because there has been things added, such as, you know, ionite, radiculite, ludicrite, and all of that. So these are actually the best coil blocks. What coil blocks are, basically there is a coil in the turbine that you wrap those blocks around. I believe you can do quite a bit of them, I think. There's a certain point where they just kind of fall off and there's no point in doing it. But if we do F3H here, you can see that these are labeled as coil, you know, blocks here. So it says can be used inside as a coil inside a turbine. And this is the best, right? This block here is the best for coils. So we could build up to this. Of course, we need radiculite, which needs magnetite and ludicrite. I don't even know how to get magnetite at all. Ludicrite, which is cyanite and plutonium, so basically double dose of cyanite, which gets us ludicrite. But yeah, I don't know anything about this one. This is something that I don't think I know of how to get. which is kind of strange, but there's no real JEI stuff on that. Here's the magnetite fluid. Okay, so it is energy, magnetite. See, that doesn't really tell you much, right? Because I don't know how you start with this. I know there's like plutonium, right? To get verdinium or verdium. Verdium can actually be turned into rosenite or rosentite by just using it in the reactor. Yeah, so right here, which is how you get the ludicrite, right? Or no, it's the ridiculite. Okay, so I'm not sure how you actually go about getting this stuff. I don't think there's like an ore or anything. Um, there's also this stuff. There's a lot of fluids, right? I have no idea what this is. Radiation moderator inside a reactor. So this is just stuff you can actually put inside the reactor to make it better. Which I guess these like kind of just all go together. Yeah, there's a lot to that one because angelicite is not actually common. So this would probably be a pretty decent thing to put inside a reactor, you know. And there's no real information on these, right? So you don't know the benefits, the trade-offs, nothing like that, right? So, I think what we'll do is we will grab another reactor. That's the first thing. Because we actually need one that produces steam. Steam is kind of essential, just like how it is with mechanism. We do need to be able to produce steam. How's this doing, by the way? It's not too good. We probably can actually just convert one of these into it. So let's actually grab what is called... I believe it's this, but I might be wrong. I might be wrong here. So let's throw this on the side. Okay. So you've got coolant and you've got vapor. Okay. So what we'll do here is we'll actually need to grab another one of these. What is this called? Forge fluid port. And I most likely will look up how to get the other thing. Because, you know, I'm not going to sit here for hours trying to research that when other people have done it. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. So let's go outlet, input. Let's grab a sink. Okay. And I love how I just have two reactors sitting here not being used. You know, it's just interesting. I don't need a sink here. So we'll grab at pipes, fluid pipe, grab this. Also, don't use pipes on a fission reactor, by the way, because if it turns off, it usually breaks it. I'm not sure why, just so you guys know. Yeah. Anyway, let's go there. Nope, wrong way. There. Okay. And that is not the right thing, apparently. Okay. Allows you to insert and extract fluids from an actively cooled reactor. This port accepts and emit vanilla fluids, but only if they are coolant or vapors. A wrench can be used to change the port from input to output. I just made it active. That's fine. So let's see here. So let's click on this again. Yeah, so I think we've done this correctly. I just don't know why it's not actually pushing in. Do I need to remove this stuff? Let's just try it. Let's knock one block out, see what happens, if anything. Hmm. I would think that would work. I don't know why that like lights up. Set the fluid port to inlet mode, outlet mode. Okay. Let me figure this out, and I'll be right back. You know what? On second thought, I think I'm done with Extreme Reactors. So you guys can see here, it's active. It's not producing anything. It's active, but it's not producing anything. I've been running into this issue, like just several issue, one right after the other with this mod. I also figured out how to get magnetite. It's plutonium inside of a reactor to actually do this. Yeah, I kind of wasted a lot of that Viridium fuel or the high tier fuel because it wouldn't actually come out of the system. It would just it would pull out some, stop, pull out some, stop. I don't know what's happening, but goodness gracious, I am getting tired of it. So yeah, we are done with this Extreme Reactors. I'm not going to worry about the turbine. Um, since there's probably never going to be another version of this in 1.18.2, it's going to be a waste because I haven't touched these reactors, changed them in any way in a long time, and they just stop working. Okay, so we're completely reliant on one single thing, which is the fission reactor, which actually works all the time. And you may be thinking, well, maybe it's because you're almost out of uranium. No. These are both set to 500 blocks. Didn't work. Okay. So, with that, we're going to actually move away from extreme reactors permanently. I'm probably going to be taking these down, in all honesty, which I have a builder over there. This mod, I wish it would work. Because I do have time to diagnose, but when the mod literally will not function, no matter what I try, I'm not tearing this whole thing down, putting the builder up to actually tear it down or anything like that. I'm just going to clear this entire area and call it a day. We might waste some uranium doing that, but I think it's for the best. Save some space, save some time. That is 2 power mods that have legitimately failed me. I have not touched the resonating crystals. Deep resonance in a long while. I don't think there's been an update to it in all honesty. But I'm that's 2 down. Okay. I think I've been burned a little bit too many times with power mods, so I think we're gonna stick with mechanism because it's tried and true and still seems pretty awesome. So let's actually go check on the mechanism reactor. I think what I really want to get into though is the fusion reactor. I think that would be awesome. Ooh. Ooh. Why are we almost out of fissile fuel all of a sudden? How are we doing over here? Ooh, there's a problem. Because it's nighttime. I should have probably put this in another dimension. Let's actually sleep this real quick here. Where's my sleeping bag? So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm really am sad that Extreme Reactors isn't working. I do really want to get into that. I want to make the turbine, but I think I'm just running into too many issues where I don't want to bother anymore. So yeah, it's not fun. I will say that it's not fun. It's not what I want to do, right? Like I legitimately genuinely want to mess with Extreme Reactors, and that's sad, right? Like I'm just sad. All right, why are you not functioning? See, here's another thing. Pipes for some reason has not been working. I don't know why. It's been intermittent where I have just this recording session, it has just not been working. So let's grab some pressurized tubes. Let's swap these bad boys out because we need this to work. Fissile fuel is kind of important for a fission reactor. That is set on wrench mode. Let's change that. Extract, extract, insert. Let's change these. Today has just been a little bit of a buggy mess. And I don't understand why, because I haven't had a lot of these issues in the past. But, you know, it'll be alright. We'll figure it out. Alrighty. So we're going to activate that. And we're off. We're off to the races here. I really just wish I could get the superheated sodium out of this. Like, I want to be able to do that. And this isn't really going to help. It's kind of just eh. I think it's kind of a waste of power, but that's fine. So we have, 500,000 coming out. And I think we really could upgrade this fission reactor now that we kind of know what we're doing. But I would really love to be able to get this to 11. Right? But for some reason, it just will not work. Yeah, because we start having a backlog of superheated sodium. So I'm kind of wondering if we actually could do this. And I know I said I was done with these, by the way. I'm sorry. I really, since now this is really the biggest way of power, because for some reason everything else with Extreme Reactors is against me, I really need to figure this out to actually get power. Alright, so let's do, I guess output coolant. Right? We'll do that. Let's try that. Okay, so there's no more superheated sodium, but I don't think this is actually good enough. Okay, so I think that's the exact same issue. All right, so let's try this. So let's grab a boiler valve, right? And I think what we actually should do is here, put this there, do this, do this. We'll set these both to normal. All right, and we'll do that. I think this might be the issue. Not 100% sure, but it might be an issue that hopefully we can solve here. So let's see, do I have, I don't have any of those. So at mech reactor. Because if we need to just add more ports, that's fine. But I believe this will be the last time we focus on this. I do want to get into some magic mods and mess around with those. So I think, hopefully we can get power stabilized and all of that jazz. Okay, so now we're at 11. We are keeping a steady burn, okay? So yes, the ports were the issue here. It wasn't anything else. So if I wanted to, let's scram this. Let's actually add a boiler port, another fission reactor port, another fission reactor port, because I want to keep these balanced, right? Because you're basically putting in the exact same. And it looks like I have too many ports. No, it's because I had to put the wrong port, okay? So let's do that, put these here, change this, and of course we'll just turn these off. Do pull, push, pull, push. Let's try that. Okay, I don't think it'll affect anything with the actual amount of superheated sodium in here, but I think for now this should work. So why are you not pulling? Just not have enough superheated sodium? Which I mean is fine, right? So let's go 15. Let's try it. Okay, so we are dipping a lot of the sodium, but we aren't dropping below a threshold, which I think is good, but we are starting to lose. We're starting to get into that high burn rate area. You can see it's starting to change color. We're almost to 500,000, right? So I think we could try 16. I really think we'll probably start getting to that point where we will be hitting high temps, and I don't want that to happen. Yeah, and I'm not sure how to really get the superheated sodium out. I could probably add more of the superheating elements, maybe move them. I don't know the actual effect of them, right? So there's a whole bunch of this stuff happening. So let's actually scram this. Let's test. Since I have a little bit of time, I think we're almost out of time here, but I want to try and mess around with this. I don't know too much because there's not a whole lot on the mechanisms page about this. So let's try putting these up higher, one block higher. So I know we were at 5 million water storage in here, right? So let's change that. Okay, so raising that actually does increase the amount of water. All right, so if we actually turn this back on, we are not able to support that much. We have 321. Okay, 321,000 burn. And of course, we're getting a lot out of there per tick. So let's try. I wish I could have more than one superheating element. That's what I want to see if we can actually do. I have tried this a little bit here. So let's try it again on camera, see what we can actually do. Superheating element. I want to be able to have 2 layers of these. I don't know if I can. It might have to be spaced. That might also be another issue. Okay, so that's reactor glass. So let's grab some structural. Okay, so yes, I can do that. All right, so let's activate this. All right, so our boil 321. So nothing has changed. All right. Let's keep experimenting. All right, so let's break this again. Let's try. I would love to add another pressure disperser. But I legitimately don't think I can actually add any more pressure dispersers. Because I did try to add the stacks, like I said I was going to make these higher. But they didn't seem to actually work. Yeah, see? So this will not work. What happens actually if we get rid of this bottom and we do push this up another one? Like up against the very top. I don't know if there needs to be a space or anything. Alright, so this should be complete. Oh no, it won't complete with me inside it maybe. Okay. So let's actually try a few things. Let me be right back. I'm gonna push this up one, see what happens. Alrighty, so there's not really much change. I have set this to 6, to actually pushing this to the top. I've added this massive set of superheating elements, okay? But not much changed, right? So there's no significant update on that. But what we will do is just say, hey, send it to 20. Okay, so this is actually suitable enough to set this to 20 and walk away, right? So, shall we try? Okay, 500,000. We are definitely not producing enough sodium for this. Or, well, producing enough superheated sodium in the boiler converting to sodium, right? So, there's an issue. Yeah, we have 15 million in there. Okay, steam is constant. We're at 1.5 million. I would love to try and see if another boiler works. What I'm going to do is off camera, I'm going to build an exact copy of this boiler and probably set it over here, or actually just above it, probably above it, and then have the valves on the bottom so I can just pipe all the water. But yeah, I'm going to try that, see if I can get the temperature down and kind of cycle the superheated sodium to 2 boilers and see if we can actually get this to be less super sodium in here and have more sodium in here so we don't affect the temperature as much as we are right now. Okay. Another thing before we end this episode, because it is time to wrap up this episode, I want to make sure that we're doing a good over here. Okay, everything looks like it's locked up, right? I mean, we're producing a little bit of uranium hexafluoride just because we constantly are using fissile fuel. We're constantly making yellow cake uranium, and we're filling these slowly. So this is a backlog, which is a massive backlog, I will add, but that is fine. All right, so fluoride dust. Looks like everything's good here. Awesome. Okay. So for now, this is our source of power. 1.5 million RF or FE per tick. Okay. So let's actually quickly as well hop back here. Alrighty, so I wanted to hop back here for this induction matrix. The commenter that I talked about earlier actually suggested to improve this. I will be doing that, but I'll be doing it off camera. I've built this on camera kind of thing, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'll expand this that way and up, since I do have enough resources to make something like this. But we are constantly getting more and more power, which is what I need, right? I don't want to be in the situation where the extreme reactors, kind of thing, where they just turn off and don't work. My assumption is I'd have to tear them down and rebuild them, which is not something I'm willing to do. And of course, this is still producing power, just not as much as we wanted in the past. So, with that, I will see you guys in the next episode. I will be tearing this down as well, the thing behind me, off camera. So next time, expect a new boiler. Expect this whole situation behind me to be torn down. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay awesome. Bye-bye.